if you're merging households and determining compatibility, what are some thoughts about poly styles and goals to talk about with the partners that are merging? We want to have a really peaceful, powerful group as we merge our polycules.
Our polycules.
Yeah.
Cathy Vartuli from intimacydojo.com.
Reid Mahako from readaboutsex.com. So yeah, it can be challenging because you just get one polycule and you have the known standards and expectations, and you work through the goals and boundaries, and then you have another one and they might not match. There might be some butting of heads.
Yeah, I mean, my advice, I teach this in some of my relationship classes, the idea of getting really clear about what's the purpose of being in a relationship at all. And that you, being the poly person who likes to have several, different swirling electrons merging to create your poly molecule, if that's the right term, you're the chemist here. But the idea of have everybody who's a part of the household sit down and get clear about why they're in a relationship with anyone.
And why would they want to join households? What do you want to create?
Why would you be in a household with anyone? Like, what's the purpose of household for you? What's the purpose of relationship for you? And then for everybody who's merging households, what's the shared intention for having the household? Mm-hmm. And when I teach this in relationships around a shared intention for a relationship, it's the idea of no matter how bad the fight or the upset, this is always a place you can meet and will always be in agreement.
Yeah.
The best example, the one that I use, is for people who are parents who maybe are getting divorced, maybe not. One thing that parents can almost always agree on is to be the best parents and co-parents for each other's children.
Yeah.
It is rare, but it does happen when you have a parent who's like, "Fuck no, my purpose in life is to not be the best parent to my children."
Oops.
That's problematic, but most parents can agree to try to show up and be good parents, and that agreement is still true no matter how much they are upset at each other. Mm-hmm. So that becomes like the base camp that you can always go back to and then build out from a place of agreement as you navigate things. I would imagine, in my infinite wisdom in this video, only a few minutes in, pulling these answers out of my ass, that the same thing could be true for a household. If you have different households merging into one, what is the shared household intention that no matter how big the upset, how many times somebody puts the toilet paper on the wrong way or leaves the toothbrush, the toothpaste cap off,
or drinks the last of the milk,
or whose paramour, did whatever, no matter how big the upset, what's the one thing at least that you can all agree on that you'll almost always agree on? Establish that first, and then build out from there about what each other's needs are, for the household, the people in the household, to feel loved, honored, and cherished.
And make sure that everyone's in agreement. I know sometimes there may be a new relationship energy, and it's really exciting, and you're like, oh, I'm going to move my new lover in, but your old relationships may be like, what? We didn't agree to, I think it's important to talk to everybody and make sure that it's a yes for the group. And
then the last thing I would drop in, again, which is stuff that I cover in my relationship seminars, is how are you going to handle when somebody realizes there was something that we should have talked about that we didn't know to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is really clever stuff about retroactively, we're going to create today this thing that's going to save our asses years from now, which is the idea of, and this is really useful just in poly and relationships, this is also really useful for monogamy too, is we had a need for a boundary that we didn't anticipate. It never got spoken.
Yeah.
And the reason we're finding it out now is it has been violated.
Yes. And everyone's already upset.
What's the protocol?
Yeah.
If you have something established, then at least you can be like, holy shit, it's happening. Look how smart we were to predict that we wouldn't know everything. And then you go into whatever your protocol is for yourself.
Another thing that makes me feel really safe is having exit strategies. Even though you're like getting into a relationship or going deeper, why would we have that? But having an exit strategy gives everybody security in knowing what would be the signs of this, when we would know to do that, that sort of thing. And we have a video on that, a few exit strategies. Cool. So, yeah. Hope this
What do you
helps.
think? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? What did we forget? What worked really well for you? Put it in the comments.
Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...